and those people around you. Can you put into words what you felt when you got the call and the opportunity now to fight Tyson Fury this weekend?
Yeah, I was very happy. It dropped out of the sky and I was very happy. I talked to Joey about it and we were all for it. So then we got it done and we're finally here. And it's a dream come true for me to be here. I come from a small place in Sweden and now I'm here on the big stage and I've been dreaming about this and I'm ready to put it all on the line.
For those who haven't really had a chance here in the States to see you fight, there's been a couple mishaps that have prevented that in the last year from happening, but how would you kind of describe your style as a fighter for those that are looking forward to seeing you? What should they expect from you come Saturday night?
They can expect a good boxer. I'm well schooled, I got a good background, and I got good defense, good offense, good defense, and yeah, I think I have what it takes to cause an upset.
You've been sparring with the likes of Anthony Joshua, Kubrat Pulev, Big Baby Miller, just to name a few. Have those experiences, although yes, headgear and the different gloves, it is a different story, but that's still good experience for you to prepare you for Tyson Fury, yes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, sparring is just sparring, but it's the closer you can get to a fight. And I haven't been on this big stage in fights before, but I've been in sparring, and I feel like I've always done well, and I feel like I'm on this level, and I'm ready to prove it.
All right, we're looking forward to it Saturday night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ben, how you doing? What's the best thing, Ben, about working with Tyson Fury?
Although everybody sees the showmanship and that, obviously it's all fun and games, but deep down he's a very good man and an absolute gentleman. I'd say that with good morals and a good outlook on life, and I'd say that, you know, developed although we've got many different relationships in terms of trainer, fighter, you know, I see him like a brother.
And he works pretty darn hard.
Very, very, very hard, yeah.
As the trainer, if you put the trainer hat on now,
yeah.
What's the scouting report on the gentleman down there to our right, OTTO WALLIN?
Exactly what he said, you know, he's a very, very good boxer, and obviously people, which I can understand, underestimate him and that, but, you know, it's very, very hard for me to get the fight, what he had, you know, his main test against Adrian Granit, you know, so a lot of the public haven't seen that, but if you watch that fight, you know, I think that's the best that he's been so far. And that's credit to Joey, and you know, he's a very, very good boxer. He put on a fantastic performance that night, and you know, I believe that he does belong at this level, but you know, he's world level, but Tyson's elite.
I read a couple articles after the last fight, and although obviously Tyson was more than successful on that night, he didn't quite follow the game plan to a T. It doesn't mean it wasn't a good performance, right? But you said he didn't necessarily go out there and do what I told him to do. So how do you kind of get him to key in and focus more on the corner in this fight?
Sometimes Tyson's been at this level and he's experienced, so sometimes I'll see something that he don't see, but you know, sometimes he'll see something I don't see, and obviously he got the job done, and you know, he made an adaptation from round 1 into round 2, which ended up finishing the fight successfully, and you know, it was you can't fault that performance.
Right. Yeah, but you had in your mind, you know what you wanted to do, and that was to make a statement in that fight, your first fight on U.S. soil, and you knew, even though he wanted you to box the first couple rounds and move around, you were going to go for the kill. How would you kind of sum up that first experience here in the U.S. and that fight against Schwartz?
I thought it was a fantastic evening of entertainment from start to finish. I was here in Las Vegas for the first time. I had to put on a show, and a show it was. Sold out stadium. The buzz, the electricity in the arena on the night was amazing. The reception I got, the after party was amazing. The fight was amazing. I had a great experience here in Las Vegas. The press conferences were good. Everything was good.
Bob, when was the last time you saw an entrance like something that like Tyson Fury did? Can you remember another time with the Apollo Creed and he had the dancers and the flame? I mean, that was something very memorable.
Apollo Creed was in a movie.
Right.
This was real life.
No, I'm saying what he did was...
The last crazy entrance that I saw was, and Frank, I think, might remember it, when Prince Ahmed came down from the ceiling, right? And the Mexican being fighting the Mexican guys and throwing the beer.
It was the same color.
You don't know that. You don't know that for a fact.
He did, because he tasted the beer.
Yeah, so not since Prince Nassim, right? I know you have something special planned, but we won't let the cat out of the bag for this show. But look, with the significance of this weekend, you've embraced the Mexican culture. Yesterday at the weigh-in, you had the Lucha Librador mask, and you had the flag and everything. So how have also the Mexican fans embraced you as well?
It's been an amazing experience, you know. I've met quite a few Mexican people since I've been here, and I found every one of them loving and respectful and honourable. So I can only go on how I've been treated by everybody, and it's been a fantastic experience. You know, Jorge's welcomed us, and he's been training with us on a daily basis for the last 2 camps. It's been an amazing asset to the team. Big thank you, Jorge. Shout out.
Thank you, Ray. We need more Mexicans in this country.
Hell yeah!
You weren't there yesterday. What Bob said was after the fight, you're going to go down to the border and you'll help personally lift people up over the wall if they want to come into the United States.
Stand on Bob as a step.
That's
Reach over and grab him.
hands down. So, you know, this has to be, it seems like this is only our second fight working together, but you seem to be the happiest and in the best physical and mental shape of your career. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. I feel good, I feel fit, I've trained really hard, I'm in great shape, weight's perfect, I'm injury free, feeling sharp, I feel rejuvenated, I feel ready for a good fight, you know. I don't know much about OTTO at all, to be fair, and that's sometimes a good thing, because when you know everything about an opponent, it doesn't really turn me on a little bit more than it should do, but when the unknown, it's more exciting, isn't it? You know, I don't know, I know he's good looking, blonde hair, blue eyes, just my type, I say. And tall, in shape. He's got a good manager and a good trainer, you know. I've no joy going back when he used to train with Andy Lee, who's a cousin of mine. And I know Dimitri from like 2010 at the Kronk Gym. So we all have a good little long relationship here. And these boys know how I train and know how I fight. And Joey knows the family I come from, the fighting stock. So, you know, no one's under any illusions. Like Bob said, Ingemar Johansson came and he knocked out Floyd Patterson. So is OTTO WALLIN going to knock out El Rey Gitanos? Definitely not. Because the fact is, I don't underestimate anybody. I give everybody the ultimate respect. Even if I'm fighting a guy who's had 20 fights and lost 20, I will train for him like he's had 20 knockouts in a row. Because I never fail to prepare. I trained hard for this fight, as hard as I trained for Wilder, as hard as I trained for anybody. I've not overlooked him. I've been in America for 5 weeks training. I was in Spain for 2 weeks before that, and I was at home for 2 weeks before that. I'm as strong as I've ever been. I feel very, very fit and very, very accurate. We've been working on different things in the gym. Obviously, the tallness and the southpaw, and he's a defensive fighter. That always is a challenge. But I've never met a challenge I couldn't defeat. I've never met a mountain I couldn't climb. I've never met a man I couldn't beat. So he's going to be no exception. And if all things go to plan, we're going to have a good fight, entertain the Las Vegas fans, and hopefully we'll go for a beer afterwards. Who knows?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do, Christina, right, throw you a curveball. Before we have the fighters pose and they go to the television, why don't we take 3 questions from the audience? You pick them out. Whoever raises their hand, let them ask 3 questions. Anything you want to either of the fighters, their camps and so forth, and you're going to get off-the-cuff answers, which is a lot better than when there's one-on-one interviews. All right.
You heard the boss. Anybody have a question for OTTO? We're both here.
Who's it to me? Yes. I eat pig iron and steel every day. Yeah. Like John Wayne said in The Quiet Man.
Anybody else? Oh, we have one over here.
Your fans, they're gonna follow this particular day for also gonna come with the Mexican Independence Day. And tell me a little bit about your shirt.
Can you say that in Spanish, because I don't understand Spanish, please?
Dinos un poquito de tu camisa, que está muy bonita, y además se va a celebrar, si ganas tú la pelea, también en tu país, la independencia.
I understand it, perfect. Yes, we're celebrating, we're going to celebrate on this day, it's a fantastic opportunity. You know, what people don't know is, I wasn't supposed to box on this weekend. I was supposed to box in New York, October, early October to mid-October. And when we heard that Canelo Alvarez wasn't going to be fighting on Mexican Independence Weekend, I thought, damn, what a shock, because, you know, this has been a special weekend for many events in Las Vegas every year for boxing. So I thought the Mexican people are not going to have a main attraction, a main event. So I need to step in. So I brought my fight date forward 4 weeks closer to fight. Just so you could see El Rey Thanos, and so that the Mexican people could have a main event, a massive superstar fighter boxing on this weekend.
And that's
Thank you very
true.
much.
He's telling the truth. Really, he's supposed to fight October 5. He calls up, he says, look, the date's open. I'm half Mexican. I want to fight on that date. That's the truth.
Yeah, the shirt, fantastic shirt, isn't it? A big shout out, Claudio Lulu. Did you ever see the movie Coco? Yes, this is a fantastic shirt from that movie. Lovely. Excellent. Very colourful. Brings out the colour of my eyes and my complexion and my chiseled cheekbones. Thank you for noticing.
Okay, I
Taking
want to
on
thank
the undefeated fighter from Sweden, OTTO WALLIN. There will also be 3 fights total, including the main event, on the main ESPN Plus broadcast. That starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Opening that show will be a Mexico versus Puerto Rican clash at 140 pounds with Jose Zepeda taking on Jose Pedraza. And just prior to the main event, it's a Mexican versus a Filipino, another clash that has happened just a few times here in Las Vegas before between Emmanuel Navarrete defending his title just weeks after his last...
not just a Mexican
I'm
against
getting
a
there.
The Mexican is one of the best fighters in
Yes.
Mexico, Navarrete,
Yes.
who's knocking everybody out. And the Filipino is the grandson of the first Filipino to win a world title, the legendary Flash Elordi. His grandson is fighting for a world title. That's not just a Mexican against the Filipino.
I understand. Yep.
Get your facts right, Christine.
Right. I haven't even got to say their name yet, but yes, like as the boss man said, Meg versus Navarrete will be the co-main event on Saturday night from T-Mobile. Obviously, Bob very excited about that fight, as he should be. You'll be able to talk to them tomorrow. They'll be up here for a press conference, as I previously mentioned. And then, as always, we have a stacked undercard getting started at 4:30 local time. Some of the fighters you will see on the undercard streaming as well on ESPN Plus is Stockton's very own Gabriel Flores Jr. fighting on the undercard, Guido Vianello, and Tyson Fury's stablemate Isaac Lowe fighting on that undercard. So make sure you tune in early, 4:30 p.m. for the undercard streaming on ESPN Plus, and then switch over at 7 p.m. for the 3 main fights. Tickets are still available. You can purchase them at AXS.com or by phone, and the doors will open at the T-Mobile Arena just prior to the main event. Saturday's event, as I mentioned, is promoted by Top Rank in association with Frank Warren's Queenberry's Promotions and Salida Promotions. So both Dimitri Salida and Frank Warren are joining me up here on the stage. Before
As a promoter, the best fans in boxing come from 2 places. They're the English or UK fans, tremendous support for boxing, and the Mexican fans, whether they're Mexican nationals or Mexican Americans. So what better platform to show this fight, to show Tyson Fury, who we're building up in this part of the world, than to show him on Mexican Independence Weekend before a big Mexican audience.
And as you mentioned, a fight that you're excited about, bringing Navarrete back just weeks after his last title defense. I mean, he seemed to really garner a lot of respect, and his fan base is growing tremendously. So he seemed like another no-brainer for this weekend, despite just fighting 3 weeks ago.
He knocks the guy out. We had a fight about Dimitri, you're going to kick out of it, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
17th.
And he knocks the guy out in the 3rd round, and then the bulb goes off. Jesus, maybe he can come back like the old fighters. Like Ray Robinson fought Jake LaMotta 3 times in, I think, 4 months. 3 times. And a 10-round in between. So, you know, fighters were made that way. And when I went in the ring with Fernando Beltrán and we asked Navarrete, will you be ready for Mexican Independence Day. He looked at me, he said, "Are you crazy? Mexican Independence Day in Las Vegas? Sign me up right away." And so he's going to be fighting, not an easy fight. Flash Shalordi's grandson, who's lost one fight, I think 4 years ago, and is 23-1.
And with Otto
Floyd Patterson was the great champion. And suddenly, Customato is looking to get him an easy fight. So he gets this Swedish guy, Ingemar Johansson, that nobody ever heard of, comes over with his gorgeous wife and a gorgeous girlfriend, right? And it was like a big joke in the papers. And not only does he win the fight, not only does he knock out Patterson, he has him down 8 times. So you got to watch these Swedes. They got a hell of a lot of fortitude and punching power. And Otto is not going to be distracted. You didn't bring 2 pretty ladies with you, did you?
I'm looking to pick some up.
Hey! You're in the right place. Well, then let's just segue right to you, Dimitri, and securing the opportunity for your fighter in Otto to get this fight against Tyson Fury on a huge boxing weekend. What does that mean for you and your team?
Well, it's obviously huge. Otto's an undefeated world-rated fighter. He has beaten everyone put in front of him. He's been trained in the United States with Joey Gamache, who's a former world champion, great trainer, great teacher, for over 4 years. So while people say that he hasn't really fought in the United States, he's had the experience of training in the United States boxing and sparring with some of the best fighters in the world. And he's 20-0, in the United States, not a lot of people know who he is, but on Sunday morning, he's going to be the biggest name in sports.
Last time we saw him.
I thought it was outstanding. Tyson is Tyson. There's not another boxer like it. Certainly I've been involved with in the sport. He's just so colourful. He just captures everybody's love and attention. And he was punch perfect. It was a fantastic performance. Great entrance, but the performance was outstanding. And I was really pleased with it. And you've got to remember where he's come from in a very short space of time. Was it 14 months ago? He lost all this weight. He's now training for fights rather than training to lose weight. Ben's done a fantastic job training him. He's in great condition now. And obviously we don't look past Otto because obviously he's here. He can, as Bob said, it can cause an upset. Anything could happen. If Otto had been fighting Ruiz 9 months ago, we may be discussing who would win that fight. Now Ruiz is world champion. Anything can happen in boxing, and Tyson's got to be top of his game, and he's got to do what I know he can do. He's the best, for me, the best heavyweight out there in the world, and I'm sure he comes through this one, and it is going to be a tough fight for him. He comes through this one, it's going to set up the big fight that Bob and I have been working very hard to deliver.
When you're ready, tell me just do a fight. Okay. You got it? Yes, the fighter, man.
Face up. Look in the eyes. Look in that next one. What?
Look. What am I, 6 inches taller? Even without the hat.
Yeah, that's true. Down here, guys? Down here?
We don't know what that means, Ben. Deal with them inches.
Okay, we're good. We're good? Yeah.